Notre Dame at Texas A&M. Texas A&M 3-point favorite. Total down to 46.5. Under's taking money. A&M's taking money. You know my position on this. I talked about it all summer. I
Yep.
thought A&M was going to win. I said A&M was the side. I think how you boil this game down to two things. I think Texas, well, let's say three things. One, Texas A&M is going to be a much more serious team under Mike Elko. Huge coaching upgrade. That's why I'm a lot higher on A&M in the market, or at least was before A&M keeps taking money. Two, Notre Dame's offensive line problem. 6 career starts on that offensive line, headed to College Station for their, a lot of their first collegiate action against a defensive line that's filled with Sunday players. And so I ultimately think that'll be the difference. The Texas A&M offense definitely has questions. Like their offensive line has questions, not as many as Notre Dame. And the Notre Dame defense is really good. The secondary is really good. The defensive line is really good. They have a really good, linebacker as well. Like it's a really good defense. This should be a rock fight. The wild card here is Elko versus Leonard. They were at Duke together last year. Who has the edge? Quarterback has seen Elko's defenses in practice over and over again. Coach knows the quarterback's tendencies, his weaknesses, his strength. Let's see what he wants to do. Elko in his press conference said, look, it's Leonard who has the advantage. He's seen my defenses a lot. Obviously, he's going to say that. I think it tends to favor the coach. But I think A&M's a side to me. I need under 3, though. Definitely will be in my round robin. That's my small favorite anchor. I'm leaning under, and I have a new segment for the show. It's in the kind of, if you watch some of our live stuff in the NFL, we have a segment with Chad Millman, who does Convince Me. I'm going to do one bet a week that I kind of like that you bet, and I want you to convince me, and I'm going to bet it. And I'm going to have a whiteboard. I'm going to keep track of one a week. I think that one this week for you to convince me, A&M, Notre Dame, first half under 23.5. I think I'm going to join you there. Because I think both teams with their offensive line questions, like A&M has offensive line questions. Notre Dame definitely does. They're going against 2 really good defensive lines, 2 really good talented secondaries. Hey, this is a huge game, right? First game of the year. Texas A&M also a new offensive scheme. Let's not make a mistake. And I think that both of these teams are going to feel each other out, let the offensive lines ease into the game. So I think this is going to start out very, very conservative. So I think I prefer the first half under to the full game under, especially now that that's come down. So do you want to add some insight to convince me?
Yeah, I mean, once I wrote this game up for action, it'll be out at the end of this week, and it'll have all the stats and the names that you're going to need to make this bet here. I think we need to start off by saying how unbelievable it is that Mike Elko has such a a fingerprint on everything in this game. I mean, Riley Leonard played for Elko last year. Elko coached Duke against Notre Dame last year. Now, why is that important? Because Elko brought all his assistants, right? I'm sure those files that they have on the game plan for Notre Dame, they don't have any dust on them. So Elko and all of his assistants, are in College Station. That's going to be a big deal here. So, I mean, Mike Elko himself was a defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. So there's just so much here that's in favor of Texas A&M from that perspective in terms of shutting down the Notre Dame offense. And when you lose tackles like Joe Alt and Blake Fisher to the NFL, Marcus Freeman was kind of in a bind. He had highly touted redshirt freshman Charles Jagusa penciled in at left tackle, and he was going to be the anchor of that offensive line. He has a season-ending injury a couple of weeks ago. The tackle depth chart now is scary. Emil Wagner was a great run blocker, poor pass blocking grades. But true freshman Anthony Knapp was just at prom a couple months ago. Dude was literally at prom, and now he's starting at tackle against maybe the fiercest Texas A&M defensive line out there. So, Knapp was recruited as an interior line. That's the thing that gets me here stuck. This is the guy that's filling in at tackle. He was recruited as an interior offensive lineman. He was considered the 8th best in the recruiting circles. Now he gets the hot spot there. You would expect they would want to protect Riley Leonard coming back from a foot injury. But the problem is when all you run is outside zone with Mike Denbrock, the new offensive coordinator at Notre Dame, the tackles are going to get crashed. The defensive ends are going to be on top of whatever running back is there for zone read, and it's going to be Riley Leonard on the ground. And that is a bad situation for Notre Dame here. Now, Texas A&M, we talked about this on other formats. Nick Skirton comes in from Purdue, 28 hurries, 8 sacks. Shamar Turner's on the inside, creating 35 pressures from the interior is crazy. That's how good this Texas A&M line is. So I think the one issue that I have, and Notre Dame's just as good on the interior too. Notre Dame's defense. The issue that I have comes on the Texas A&M offense. I would join you on taking Texas A&M, but there's a couple of things where it's like, I think Notre Dame can shut down Texas A&M for quite a while too. As potent as Texas A&M's line is, the interior of Howard Cross the third and Riley Mills combined for 63 pressures and 57 stops from the interior. These aren't even edge players. And Connor Wiegman makes me a little bit nervous running the Kansas State offensive playbook that offensive coordinator Colin Optimus Klein is going to call here. The injury to Reuben Owens really kind of stunts that Kansas State playbook because everything Kleiman does at Kansas State is a two-back set, and sometimes Will Howard is running the ball. Every quarterback there runs the ball. Connor Wiegman has no history of designed runs, no history of being able to be mobile outside the pocket. Really, their backup quarterback, Marcel Reed in there, he's more the better fit here, but Connor Wiegman's going to be the quarterback. It's just sort of a weird fit for Colin Klein's offense. So we'll see how that plays out. And that's the thing about the first half bet, Stuck. These are two extremely smart head coaches that are defensive minded. They're going to go to the locker room and make adjustments at halftime, and I expect points to get up on the board. I expect schemes to change. I mean, these are truly two of the smartest coaching staffs in college football. The adjustments will be made. Points are probably going to get up on the board. It's going to be a brand new ball game in the second half. So give me the first half under while these two teams are just kind of in a jab match and a boxing match trying to feel each other out.
All right, I'm riding with you. First one of the year of riding one of Colin's bets from each podcast. And then if I lose, I get to blame him the next week. So it's fine.
There you go.